everyone, welcome to our class report in this subject, the child and adolescent learner and learning principles. And to our beloved instructor, Ms. Race Clear E. Raz, and in behalf of my responsive and cooperative groupmates, Ms. Angelica Havana and Mr. Vicente Hosol, I, Christian Lasta, will gladly present to you our assigned topic this morning, the brain development. So in today's discussion, what we will learn are, first, what is brain? We will not get into details of the brain because it's a broad topic to be discussed, and we will only know how brain works, especially its function and how important it is. Then we will know what is brain development. We will also discuss the stages of how human brain develop. First, what is brain? Brain is a complex organ of our body. When we say complex, it has many different connecting parts that has its own purpose and function. This organ, the brain, is responsible for controlling our thoughts, visions, memories, temperature, motor skills, hunger, breathing, and any kinds of process that our body regulates.
Let's have a quick review about the parts of the brain and its functions. The top of the brain is what we call cerebrum. It is separated into 4 lobes: temporal, the parietal, the occipital, and the frontal lobe. The cerebellum, also called as the little brain, controls coordination and balance that helps us talk and walk. The temporal lobe helps us process sounds. In other words, it helps us hear. It also helps us in balancing. The parietal lobe is the association lobe because it communicates with the other lobes. The parietal lobes is where the information such as taste, the temperature, and the touch are integrated for process. The occipital lobe is responsible for our vision. The frontal lobe is responsible for our executive function. This includes our memory, impulse, control, emotions, planning, and organization. The brain is connected to the spinal cord by the brain stem. The brain stem controls the flow of the message between the brain and the rest of the body. It also controls the very basic functions such as breathing, heart rate, and our blood pressure.
Now we know what the brain is and its main function. Let's proceed to brain development. What do we mean when we say brain development? According to Nancy Guberty, who is a functional medicine specialist, nutritionist, author, founder of Autism Expert Training, and who is passionate about empowering others and to reach total wellness of human mind and body, there are 5 stages of how human brain developed. On the first stage of her study, 0 to 10 months pregnant women are the subject of this research. Nancy finds out that at this early age, neurons and connections are starting to grow and the human brain are starting to develop. During this stage, pregnant women are advised to stay stress-free as possible. Any emotional problem of a mother will affect the brain development of the baby. And for proper brain development of the baby, the mother is prescribed to regularly intake folic acid that helps baby's brain, skull, and spinal cord develop properly. It can be taken from plants and from vegetables or fruits, and also from food supplements. B6 also is required, for it helps normalize the brain development, and B12. It is a nutrient that helps keeps our body's blood and nerve cells develop. On the second stage, this research starts from birth to 6 years of the existence. In this stage, the voluntary movement, reasoning, perception, emotions, attachments, planning, and working memory develops. It is when the sense of self is born, and experiences in this stage will shape the emotional well-being of a person. By the age of 6, the brain reaches 95% of its adult brain weight and at its peak of energy consumption. Caregivers need to provide nurturing environment and daily individualized communication. Any negative or harsh treatment may result to emotional consequences in the future. On the third stage, 7 to 22 years old are the subject of this research. It is where neural connections are still in progress, but some connections are starting to become stable. It is the stage where we develop our ability in decision making. This is when the teenagers need to control their emotions and behaviors. Nancy's advice to this following age group is to avoid drugs, alcohol, smoking, unprotected sex, and any substance abuse in order to preserve the brain capacity. Stage 4. The subject of this research are ranges 23 to 65 years old. Finally, at this stage, the brain reaches its peak power. This is where our brain performs its full potential. After it reaches the top, then comes the downhill pattern, where memory for recalling starts to decline and processing ideas slows down. Also, on this stage, the working memory is storing less information. During this period, it is instructed to stay mentally and physically active while maintaining a healthy diet. And finally, on this final stage, where 65 years older, where the brain cells are lost in critical areas of the brain. I think this is where we are starting to become more forgetful. Learning new skills, meditating, and exercising can still improve reasoning and concentration at this stage. Avoiding stress and eating healthy diet is ideal. To sum it up, the brain as a complex organ of the body also undergoes complex process for its development. Scientists are still learning more about how our brain works, as throughout the lifetime, it continues to undergo changes. Brain connection starts at the mother's womb. Then, from birth to adulthood, is continuous in development. The brain reaches its peak power at around 22 years of existence that last for 5 years and overcome downhill pattern later that stage. Our brain development affects our brain functionality that reflects our performance in school and in life. As what we can notice in Nancy Guerty study in stages of human brain development, maintaining healthy diet and avoiding mind-altering drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, and anything toxic can help our brain develop properly. It only means that lifestyles and environment has a big impact on our brain to develop. And for that, may we all utilize our mind power into the fullest before it goes downhill. That's all. Thank you for watching